Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lola here, AE29 Fashion, and today we are doing part 2 of our simple black evening gown. So in the first part, I drafted the pattern and cut out all the pieces, and in this one we're going to be sewing it all together. So keep watching. So guys, from following on from part 1, we are just going to pick up all the pieces that we've cut out, and on this first part, this is the bodice part of the dress, and I'm just arranging the pieces with the lining and the sequin fabric. I'm also going to put on the interfacing, which is this white fabric. It's kind of got a glue on one side, and you just iron it on, and it just helps the fabric have a little bit more body and a bit more sturdy, have a better shape. So that's what I'm doing here, and then now I'm going to sew these two pieces together. So I'm going to be doing this for all the bodice pieces. So all the top half of the dress, I'm going to be putting interfacing on the lining part of the fabric, and then from there we will get sewing. So now that we've put interfacing on all the bodice pieces, we can start sewing now. So I'm just lining up the lining and the fabric. If you notice, we have two pieces of fabric and one fashion fabric, which is the sequin fabric. And I need to join the sequin fabric and one piece of the lining fabric together so that they don't move apart. So as you can see, I'm just pinning all the pieces now. And then I'm going to be sewing around all the pieces just to hold everything in place before I actually start sewing the dress together. So we're coming to an end now of where we are just piecing the sequin fabric and the lining together. And then once we've done that, we'll just cut off all these little extra pieces of the interfacing when we ironed it on, just to make the fabric and pattern look neat. And then we can start joining them together and start forming this dress. So now we're pinning the pieces together. This is the side front and the center front. As you can see, it's got a sweetheart shape. So we're going to pin all these together and then we're going to sew it down. Guys, don't forget to take your time when you're sewing, because if you notice here, I'm taking out some stitches here because it puckered. So you don't want the fabric to fold up and make any unnecessary pleats, especially around the bust area, because it does not look good. So take your time when sewing, and it should all come out looking good like this. And now I'm just going to put the pieces together, the lining and the sequins fabric together now. We're going to be sewing these pieces together, and then once we've got the pieces, we will have the front in the fashion fabric, which is the sequins, and we'll also have the back, which is the lining. And then we need to sew those two pieces together as I'm doing now, and that will create the front bodice. So now we're moving forward. We've stitched those pieces together, and now I'm just notching these, just kind of slashing it a little bit so that when I turn it the right way, it will lay down smoothly. Because if you don't cut it, then it kind of just gets to have sharp edges in the sewing that you're doing. So that's a little tip there for you. Guys, do remember that this is not a full tutorial, it's just kind of sew along with me, show you some little tips and tricks of how I do things. And yeah, I hope it's helpful, and don't forget to let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the big thumbs up. So guys, we're going to be doing the same thing for the back. So we've created our front bodice, and this is the back panels now. So this is the side back and the center back, and this is the fashion fabric as in the sequins and the lining. So we need to join those together for the left and the right, and then we'll create our back too. So I'm just opening up all the seams so it's easier to lay down and just look flat. So that's what you see me doing here. This is still the front, and then I'm going to go back to the back and continue sewing. So I'm sewing the back panels now. We are done with the back panels now, so I've sewn that all together. So now what we need to do is get started with the bottom half of the dress. So this is the skirt, as you can see from the picture and the thumbnail. It is a mermaid dress, a gown. So this is the shape. So this, I'm just going to join the lining and the sequin fabric together. This is what you see me doing here. I'm just sewing the bottom together first, and then I'm going to flip it over. So this is what I'm doing. I'm sewing it at the bottom to give it a clean finish, because I don't really like to fold it over. I tend to fold mine, sew them together, then flip it over the right side. It just gives it a bit of a cleaner finish for me. So I'm still sewing the line into the fashion fabric, which is the sequins. I'm sewing them together at the hem, and I'm also doing a top stitch so that they don't come apart. And I'll be doing this for the front panel, the two side panels at the back as well. Guys, if you're still watching the video up to this far, I am so grateful. Please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Let's have a conversation in the comment section down below. So I finished putting the fashion fabric and the lining together, and as you can see, I've done it. The hem is nice and neat now. So I'm just pinning it together now. So I flipped it over already, and I'm about to pin it together and stitch it all the way around before I actually join the skirt together, just so that there's no movement. So you'll see what I mean in a second. So I'm literally just sewing around each pattern, just sewing all the way around, just to keep the fabric all in place so that the lining doesn't move away from the sequins. So once I've finished putting the lining and the sequin fabric together, I will now be putting the front panel of the skirt and the 2 back pieces together, forming the skirt, which I will now put the zip. And then once I finish with that, I will continue with the front. So right now I'm trying to put the spaghetti straps into the top of the dress. So I've just fed the rope through the lining and the fashion fabric, and I'm just sewing it here, as you can see. And then and then we can see now that I've connected the rope or the strap. Looking cute, looking cute. So we're just cutting off the edges there so it's not so bulky. So I'm just doing the second one now. So I have to do the same for the back, but the only thing with the back one is that I have to make sure I have to get the measurement correct, because once I've sewn it and I've joined the top half of the dress to the bottom half, it'll be hard to take it all out again. But yeah, it's looking good, looking good. So this is the bottom half. You can see I've sewn the back together. You can see the nice mermaid. This mermaid has a little bit of a train, so you can see it's quite long. So I'm just going to join the top and the bottom together, and we are done, guys.